AOC. AOC is calling out the market manipulation. By the way, I did see the recent CoffeeZilla video. Folks, we got to talk about AOC calling out Trump's market manipulation, potentially, maybe so. Because here, first of all, Donald Trump made a very interesting statement to share. Talk about all his rich friends making money.
This is Charles Schwab. It's not just a company, it's actually an individual. And he made $2.5 billion today, and he made $900 million. He's a financial.
Oh, yes, always about the money. But see, AOC, I mean, I hope she's consistent on this. Any member of Congress who purchased stocks in the last 48 hours should probably disclose that now. I've been hearing some interesting chatter on the floor. Disclosure deadline is May 15th. We're about to learn a few things. It's time to ban insider trading in Congress. Does that mean standing up to Mama Bear, AOC? Does that mean standing up to her? So here's what's happened. So her comments come amid renewed scrutiny of lawmakers' financial transactions and potential conflicts of interest following a dramatic and unexpected shift in U.S. trade policy. The shift began not with a press conference or an official statement, but a tweet on EZ Street. So yesterday, exactly at 9:37 a.m., April 9th, former President Donald Trump, no, current president. Whoa! Hey, Yahoo! Former? You mean current? The president, the 47th. Oh my God, they got it wrong. I love it. Former president, current president, former president, current president Donald Trump took to social media and urged his followers to buy stonks. His message came just hours after his administration had doubled down on tariffs, a move that had sent ripples of uncertainty through global markets. The nation's top trade official, U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer, was preparing to testify before the House Ways and Means Committee, ready to defend the administration's aggressive trade policy. However, just minutes before Greer was set to speak, a senior staffer approached the trade rep with stunning news. President Trump had reversed his decision without any formal communication to his cabinet, Congress, or the American public. Trump had quietly rescinded the tariffs and announced it in a world tweet. Sorry about that. I stuttered there. The market reacted almost immediately. Stocks soared across the board. What had started as a day of economic instability transformed into bonanza for anyone with advanced notice of the reversal. The reverse cowgirl in many ways. Ooh la la. So Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says that she heard some interesting chatter and rumblings on the floor. Her pointed comments are widely interpreted as a call for immediate disclosure of stock trades made by members of Congress in hours before and after Trump's tariff reversal. Under the Stock Act, lawmakers are required to publicly report financial transactions within 45 days. With the May 15th deadline fast approaching, AOC's warning signals her expectation that watchdogs and the American public will be watching closely. So that means Mama Bear might be in the hot seat. You know what she's going to say to AOC? Don't make me let you cry again. I will beat you within an inch of your life. So you better shut it. But let's talk about this, because that tweet on Easy Street that Donald Trump did, I want to pull up somebody who obviously has been going through a roller coaster ride of emotions. When I say I feel your pain, buddy, I do. I dare I say it, mood kindred.
The Trump trade, the insider group chat we were all invited to. Guys, I don't know if you saw this. There was a huge opportunity to make some money because the president front ran the president. He says on Truth Social at April 9th at 8:37 a.m., this is a great time to buy. Now, this is at all-time, at least in recent memory, lows for the stock market. The stock market's bottomed out, all because of the fears of tariffs that the president implemented. So he tweets this. You know, you're wondering, what is he talking about? Well, 3 hours later, we got this. Based on the lack of respect that China has shown to the world's markets, I hereby am raising the tariff to charge to China by the United States to 125% effective immediately, saying that he's going to pause for 90 days the rest of the world, sending the rest of the world skyrocketing. These are U.S. markets here. The rest of the world is up as well. The markets have ripped, meaning if you listen to Trump, front-running Trump, you had a huge opportunity to buy. I mean, he told you it's a great time to buy.
Great time to buy it, baby. Look, I don't know. I don't got the hearts or the stones to be playing this game, but great time to buy. Maybe that was all part of the plan. Was that all part of the plan? Type 1 for no, Kit. This is just Trump being just saying, "Hey, great time to buy." Type 2. No, he was signaling, "Hey, buy, baby, buy."
Buy. And he was right. I mean, obviously he knew what was going to happen. Now, so that was the Trump trade, art of the deal. It's all part of the plan, mastermind, art of the deal. I will say, actually, there was a guy who knew before it, a guy who has been treated very unfairly, if I have to say so. That's Walter Bloomberg. I don't know if you guys know about this. There have been a lot of think pieces, a lot of news made about this guy because he, on Monday, said Trump is considering a 90-day pause in tariffs for all countries except for China. Now, as we know, that came true, but he said it on Monday that Trump was considering this, and the White House came out and said, no, this is fake news. This is not real. And as a result, a bunch of pieces got made about this guy, basically saying, hey, how fake news about tariffs on Elon Musk's X shifted trillions in the market. Anyone can really say anything on the internet, and the people will just believe it. But was he wrong? I think ultimately he had the Trump trade before anyone else, that it was going to be paused. And actually, so I kind of feel bad for this guy. I had to make a little point to say he was redeemed. Now, he might be as surprised as anyone else. It's unclear whether even he realized that he was ultimately right. It's unclear whether maybe the White House saw the market moving in favor of that and just decided to go with that. But I mean, it's exactly right. There's a 90-day pause on tariffs except for China. I will say there are still tariffs, though. There still are the 10% tariffs and the 90-day pause.
And I want to point out here, too, that while there is a 90-day pause, let's actually check out what's going on with the stock market. Let's find out what is actually going on. Well, while there is a pause, the Dow Jones still falls 1,300 points as tariff sell-offs resume after a historic rally. So that means, we still have the Dow Jones still tanking. Dow Jones market is still going down. Market is still hit by this because knowing Trump, again, you got 90 days. Okay, you got some time. Not a lot of time, but you got some time. So stocks are still falling a little bit Thursday, giving back some of that historic rally seen in previous session after Trump announced a 90-day reprieve. I mean, the tariffs are still there. The leading declines are Apple, Tesla, Nvidia, Meta platforms. And of course, the tariffs are still in effect. 145% duty on all goods from China, 25% tariffs targeting aluminum, auto goods from Canada and Mexico, not under the United States Mexico-Canadian agreement, and 10% levy on all imports. So okay, we're still going down a little bit. Still hurting, folks. Still hurting.
Really, that's all it is. I mean, it's not clear. Some people are saying that tariffs are over. This is all just part of a move to save face. But it's not ultimately clear. What is clear is some are saying that this is the art of the deal. This is how it works, guys. This is all part of the plan, that you got tricked. You got fooled. If you were a panicking like me, you were proven wrong today.
Just add to what the secretary said. Many of you in the media clearly missed the art of the deal. You clearly failed to see what President Trump is doing here.
I failed.
You tried to say that the rest of the world would be moved closer to China when in fact we've seen the opposite effect.
That's right. Clearly I was a fool for believing what the White House was saying. I mean, this was all.
And correction, it wasn't anybody else. You want to know who predicted this would call out the absolute fall? First of all, I want to give it up for one of my Legionnaires. No, not Titus Pulo. I want to give it up for Kurt Boss, the boss of bosses. Good to see you in the chat, buddy. Hope everything's going well. I predicted stock market collapse before anyone, just saying I did say May. Kurt Boss, the boss of bosses. Guess what? The king acknowledges.
All part of a 4D chess strategy. This is also said by Peter Navarro, who also kind of said this is one of the greatest days economically for America.
This is one of the greatest days in American economic history we have had. I think we're going to call it the art of the reciprocal trade deal. And I'll tell you, all the nervous Nellies on Wall Street who try to undermine us consistently underestimate the power of the president to negotiate.
That's right, you nervous Nellies. You should have been listening to the Truth Social. You should have been buying the dip like your president told you to. Now, ultimately, was this some great plan? Well, somebody asked the president, basically, was this part of the art of the deal? Why did you ultimately remove the tariffs? Here's what the president said.
You started the morning saying be cool. And just a few hours later, there was a pause put in on the tariffs. Can you walk us through your thinking about why you decided to put a 90-day pause?
Well, I thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy.
I'm just going to tell you what was given to me via private message. Now, this didn't impact one of my subscribers, but this subscriber told me the story of a friend of theirs who found out that his wife's 401k lost $400,000, and they didn't know how to break it to her yet. That's beyond painful to hear. It's hurtful to hear. And there's a lot of people here. Teddy G wrote, a lot of folks, 401ks are tied to the markets and they understandably are concerned. So I want to play the rest of this video. We're going to rewind back just a little bit.
Pause put in on the tariffs. Can you walk us through your thinking about why you decided to put a 90-day pause?
Well, I thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, they were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit afraid, unlike these champions.
Now, wait a minute. That sounds a little different. That doesn't sound like the art of the deal. That sounds like you remove them because everyone was afraid, which is true. And that's a fine reason to remove them, but that's not the same reason as art of the deal, 10,000 IQ play. Anyway, the whole thing is bizarre, but I really wanted just to flag this weird era we are in where the president can front run his own announcements, like economically. If you could have paid for this as a group chat, you would. Like, dude, this private, imagine you had a private insight into what's going to happen in the future. Just the level of corruption is unreal. Now, some people say, well, he gave it to everyone. So, isn't that fine, I guess? And I can see your point, but the problem is nobody knew to take this seriously except for a few people. Unusual Whales notes that I think people knew of the tariff pause and traded it beforehand. You can see before Trump posted buy on Truth Social, traders opened QQQ and SPY calls right before the news. Someone opened SPY calls expiring today. Those calls are up 2,100% in the hour. So clearly some traders knew even before, and they opened up some calls before even the buy the, basically buy the dip tweet from the president. At the same time, it is sort of also the perfect cover. Like if he says 3 hours before buy, no one knows what that means. It's kind of cryptic. And if you do have insider knowledge, you can just do it, buy a bunch. And then later you go, oh, I was just following. I just believed so much in the public, Truth Social thing. It's really the perfect plausible deniability. There's no way of proving that you didn't see that and just do it. And for everyone else, you can say, well, you had the same access to the same information. Yeah, well, some people knew that the president was about to drop the tariffs. Some people didn't. If those people who knew traded on that information and then later say, oh, no, I just followed the public advice, how can you prove otherwise? That's the problem with making statements like this. It is an inherent conflict of interest because it can lay cover fire for people who were doing corrupt things. And there's just sort of no way of proving one way or the other. It's weird. And it makes me worry that we're entering a time where basically the insider edge is trying to speculate what the president means about the tweets to buy the dip on the market. It's like, It's actually so weird to be having presidential stock advice. That's kind of.
We're in some grim, dark times here, folks. Grim, dark times, interesting times of what's going to happen, especially with the system as is and how it's playing out. So, in other words, is there market manipulation? I mean, come on. You'd be childish not to think that there isn't one. You'd be foolish to think that there isn't one. I mean, we have an entire political party, or both parties, that are involved in insider trade. Are you not upset? Are you not furious? I know I am. So without further ado, what's the true conclusion? Will AOC be successful in actually calling out the Democrats? Will AOC be successful in standing up against the neoliberal establishment? I mean, as much as we can say right now, I find it absolutely appalling that we have a political party that is on board with a massive amount of censorship. I find it appalling that we have political parties that are doing insider trading. Get mad, get angry, get furious. I hope AOC is successful, but all she needs is a phone call from Mama Bear, and that's it. All she needs is a phone call from Mama Bear, and that's it.